Hello, welcome back to Knitting Nicely. I'm Danielle Chauvet, your knitting coach. Today we're going to learn a second way to join two knitted squares together using a crochet hook. Here we go. All right, so here we are at our knitting station and we've got our two knitted squares lined up against each other. And we're going to take our crochet hook and get a length of yarn. Now you can leave the yarn connected to your ball, you don't need to cut it, but you do need to leave about a 6-inch tail that we will weave in when we're done. So we're going to look at the side of your square and find the little braid that goes up the side. This is a bind off edge, so the braid is pretty easy to find. And this over here is a side edge, so that braid is a little bit more difficult to find, but we can still find it. All right, so we're going to go in from the front to the back on our right square, and then the same thing on our left square from the front to the back. There's that V. And then we're going to pull up a loop with our joining yarn. Just pull it straight through both of those sides of your squares. And then you can just tuck the 6-inch tail underneath. We don't need to do anything with that right now. We're going to weave it in at the end. Then you need to find the next V on your right hand side and go in from the front to the back, and then another one on the left hand side and from front to back, and make sure that your working yarn is out of the way. And then go down through the front through the back, and then grab a new loop and pull it through. And pull it through the other side as well, and also the loop of the working yarn that you are joining. Okay, let's do that again. So down from the front to the back on the right side square, down from the front to the back on the left side square, pull the loop through all three things. So there, pull through there, and through the top. So you'll end up with just one loop on your hook. So down from front to back, make sure you just get the V down through front, from front to back, and then again on the other side, down through the front to the back. Now if you noticed, I went through the same V as I did last time, because when you're connecting a bind off side to the side of your other square, you'll have to do a little bit of easing into it, since there's more stitches than there are rows. So I usually do about every third stitch, I will go into the same V on the side. So there we go through a loop. We go through that V and through all three parts of on our hook. Sometimes it's a little difficult to get it through those loops. So then you can just pull the yarn a little bit tighter so you can get it through. There we go. I am working with cotton yarn here, and cotton yarn has no stretch, so it's a little bit more difficult to work with than with acrylic yarn. So down from front to back through the V and through the V, then pull that loop through all three things, the two V's and the loop that's on your hook already. And that's the way you do it. You go all the way up the sides of your squares until you get to the top. It's a pretty easy join, and it has a really nice look to it. You can choose either to use the same color of yarn as your squares for your join, or you can use a different colored yarn like I'm doing here. Now it's time to do going down through the same V on the left side as I did before, so that I'm easing those extra stitches in to the rows. So down, now this one will be the next one up, the next V up. Okay, now I'm going to speed up the video a little bit so that you don't have to watch me go all the way up my squares, but when we get to the top, I will show you how to weave in the end. Okay, so now I'm at the top of my squares and I need to make sure that they're evening out. So I'm going to count the stitches up both sides. Looks like I have 9 on this side and only about 6 on this side. So I need to make sure that I ease in at least 3 more stitches as I'm moving up to the top of my work. So we'll go down through this one. We'll go into the same one. That's 1 stitch that's been eased in. Next one we will move up on both sides. Next one we'll move up on both sides. And on this one I'll ease in another stitch to the same V on the left side. Now I'll move up 1 stitch on both sides again. That's the second ease that we just did. Up on both sides again. And on the next one, I will do 2 stitches into the same. So there's 1 on the same one, up again on the right side, but in the same one on the left side. So I've eased in 3 stitches now. Whoops, get that back in there. Doesn't want to go in. Go in. There we go. And this is our last stitch right at the top. Make sure you don't split your yarn. Get it all the way in, and then the last V on this side and pull it through. Now you'll pull another loop through and pull it out far, and then you'll cut that end. So now you can see that it's a nice little chain stitch that you have on the front side. It's stretchy both ways, and then you can see it goes all the way down to the bottom. Now we're going to thread our needle, and then we will weave in the end here. So when I weave in ends, I go down through the purl bumps in the back. I go back and forth through those purl bumps. So down and then up, and then back down, and then back up, and then back down, and back up, and then back down, and then I turn around and go back the same way I came. So up and then down, in the same purl bumps that I was in before. Up, down, and then back up, and then I cut the yarn right up against the work. Okay, and then at the top I also cut the yarn. I weave it in and then cut the yarn close to the work. And you can see the back side looks really nice. It's flat, there's no bulky seams, and you can kind of see a braid on both sides, one from your square and one from your join. It's got a nice little look to it. And then at the top, like I said, you pull out that loop and then just cut the loop and pull out the rest of your yarn. There you go. Joining knitted squares with a crochet hook. Thanks for watching today. If you are enjoying Knitting Nicely's videos, you can hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe so you can get all the great knitting tips. Have a great day.